The entire time I was waiting for Maddie to kick Cassie's ass and bitch slap her across the face. And I got that. So can I really ask anything more from Euphoria? Hello beautiful people and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about the Euphoria season 2 finale, which is titled All My Life I Have Yearned for a Thing I Cannot See. And I did some research into the titles of the different episodes of Euphoria, and apparently they're all from like French, either writers or like, they're not all French, but some of them are like expressionist painters and some of them are writers and poets and things like that. And it's a lot of like people that make writings that don't make a lot of sense, which I thought was very interesting, or their writings are like really obscene or their art is obscene. And I think that is a really key element and sort of entry point to how we look at this series, because, you know, if you go back and watch all the videos I've made on it on this season so far, a lot of my frustrations were with some of the incoherence or like the fact that some of it just doesn't make sense. And sometimes we spend so much time in one element of one character's story or mind, and I feel like sometimes it goes a little bit overboard, it's a little bit over the top, and we're neglecting other areas of the story that haven't even been addressed yet. For example, in the finale, we did not touch on Lori at all. We have no idea what has happened with the money that Rue still owes her. We have no idea if Lori is still planning to kind of bring her into that prostitution ring, that there were so many signs for that happening. That was just kind of gone out the window. I don't know if they plan to address it in season 3, but I've kind of started to look at the series a little bit differently in the sense of maybe it's not really supposed to make sense. These are a bunch of high school kids. Things come unfinished. It's literally just like the way coming of age is, there are issues that are highlighted and then they don't always get addressed. And you're still hurling towards adulthood with all of these questions of like, what does this mean? Do you know what I'm saying? So I kind of started to respect that a little bit more. And I think that's why I enjoyed the play so much, is because I finally felt like we were starting to tie together different elements of things that we had seen. That being said, I will be honest, my favorite part of the entire series was watching Cassie's head get slapped against a wall and the blood come out. I have to be honest with you, because I was waiting for that the entire time. The entire time I was waiting for Maddie to kick Cassie's ass and bitch slap her across the face. And I got that. So can I really ask anything more from Euphoria? I got the bitch slap I wanted. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And the real MVP of Euphoria, at least the finale, is Miss BB with her iconic line, Maddie, beat her ass. Get her, Maddie, beat her ass. That was we were screaming it with her, right? Raise your hand if you literally screamed that with BB as Maddie's just running through the hallway. She's still looking fabulous. She's flipping her hair. And BB is like the audience's mind of like, finally, yes, Maddie, get her, beat her ass. Satisfying. And I do want to talk about, again, Maddie's composure. Okay, obviously, like, when she's not super composed when she's slapping her head against the wall, but in the bathroom afterwards, when Cassie and Maddie were in the bathroom and Cassie's crying and Maddie goes, "This is just the beginning." And I think that is such a badass move and very Maddie for her to say, because she's still almost like, she isn't being disrespectful to Cassie. She's just like, you just wait to what Nate's gonna do to you. Like, you have no idea what Nate is gonna do to you. And it's a similar way that she addressed her outside of the door when she was knocking and she was saying, you know, I can't believe after everything he put me through, now he gets with my best friend. Like, Maddie is really putting a lot of responsibility on Nate for all of the evil things that he's done. And she's not putting like all of it on Cassie the way, you know, you see girls do in real life. A lot of times they just blame the other girl and don't blame their boyfriend at all. And I respect that Maddie is kind of like, don't worry, this is just the beginning. Like, he is the evil thing that is messing all of us up. Like, yes, this is about our relationship, you and me, but I personally think that Maddie kind of knows that Cassie's kind of weak. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's almost like in a way, she kind of knows that she's too weak to like not give in to the validation that Nate gives her, especially because like they both have a lot of daddy issues, both meaning Nate and Cassie. I think that they trauma bond on that. Something that happened that I did not expect at all, the only thing I would say that did happen that I didn't expect at all was Nate calling the cops on his dad. I did not see that coming at all. This episode was way different than all of the other episodes. I would say definitely this season, but maybe in the series, for the sense of like, they really started to kind of be a little bit more obvious about it and a little bit more forthcoming. Like literally when Nate said, you know, I had the dream to his dad, I had the dream of you on top of me. Like I never expected him to say that out loud. Do you know what I'm saying? Because that's not really Euphoria style, is to like, for the characters to just outwardly speak these little things that we've seen in their dreams, you know what I'm saying? And then him calling the cops. But I liked it. Like I have no issue with that. I just felt it was a different style than they usually do. A lot of the things like Rue kind of like starting to get better at the end and kind of turning into like hunky-dory-ish. Not in a way that bothered me. Just in a way that I was like, I feel like Euphoria's never done that. You know, where they're like, a character is like, you know, I stayed sober for the rest of the year. The end. It was like, okay. But again, it was satisfying. It was a bit predictable. It was a bit predictable in that way, but I wasn't bothered by it. Like it was satisfying, a satisfying kind of predictable. In regards to Jules and Rue and Elliot, I mean, honestly, props to Jules, because it was good timing for Jules to come up to Rue after the play, because Rue seemed to be in like a kind of a better mood. Also, okay, wait, can we talk about how Rue, was anybody else confused about the timeline of like Rue seeing the play and then that scene where she was talking to Lexi about how the play was like one of the only things she's seen that made her feel like she didn't hate her life for the first time in a while? I saw that and I was confused because I thought that was after the play, but I think that just means that Lexi showed Rue the play before, or maybe Rue came to dress rehearsal. Like that's another thing that was just foggy timeline. But again, once I started researching the titles and like kind of the idea of the whole thing, I was like, okay, I get it. Like it's muddy. It's just as muddy. They're like, life is muddy, this is muddy, here. And you're just supposed to kind of sift through the mud and like take out the diamonds that you can see, if that makes sense. But I was a little bit confused about that timeline. Regardless, you can tell that Rue has kind of gotten a little bit of a nice sense of self and like hope for friendship and life from this play. And so Jules coming up to her after was probably good timing, in the sense of like Rue's kind of like, back to life, back to reality, kind of. And I found the interaction to be interesting in the sense of, again, where did they really leave it? Like Rue kind of gives her a little kiss and then skirts. I guess that just means they made peace, which is fine. And then the whole scene with Dominic, I know it's very controversial right now, people talking about the 5-minute long song with okay, sorry, his name is Elliot. I call him Dominic Fike because, I don't know if you guys know this, my friend drummed for him. Not my like close friend, like my close friend's ex, who I was kind of friends with, was in Dominic Fike's band. So I think of him as Dominic before Elliot, even though I never actually met him, you know? But Elliot singing the song and playing the guitar for 5 minutes, when that started happening, I was like, oh, this is why they cast Dominic Fike. Like, because it was always kind of random to me, like, why Dominic Fike? It was just like random, not that he didn't play the role well. I was just like, it just felt random to me. And then when he started playing guitar, I was like, oh, they wanted to cast like somebody who looked like a sad boy who was a singer. And that's what they did, because Dominic does look like the kind of person to cheat on your girlfriend and then sing you a 5-minute song about it. Like, it was very like, he's really doing this right now. That being said, I also thought it was kind of a sweet scene. And I know that a lot of people hated it. I didn't mind it. I kind of liked it. I thought it was kind of sweet, kind of cute, even though I was like, is he really doing this right now? And it was a very long song, but that is Euphoria's style. Euphoria's style is like very unexpected, kind of nonsensical timing. And while it really stressed me out during Rue's episode, which, okay, by the way, I learned a little bit more about the title of that episode. So it's called Stand Still Like the Hummingbird, right? The one where she's running from the cops, starting fights with her family, running through Euphoriaville backyard, running. And apparently that refers to, I don't know if it's a French novelist or it's some kind of novelist, but apparently the significance of that is hummingbirds are the only birds that can fly backwards. I didn't know they could fly backwards. So the significance is Rue is one of the only characters that, like, yes, she's moving really fast, but she's going backwards. Do you know what I'm saying? And that was really interesting to me, because if I knew the real significance of the title, then the running is even more kind of impactful, because she is running backwards. Like, she's running into Lori's arms. She's not progressing. She's not getting better. She's not healing. She's literally flooring it backwards. So I just thought that was cool. I just thought that was a cool tidbit. Still, I need to know what's going on with Lori. And that is something that I'm like, that was a really major plot point that, like, would have major consequences that they kind of just forgot about. That is the only thing that I'm like, that was a little sloppy, I would say. And a lot of people say that the finale is sloppy. I would say overall it was pretty clean. For me, I thought it tied up a lot of loose ends for me. I wanted to see Cassie got slapped. What the hell is going on with Nate and Nate's dad? Close that. Oh, Lexi and Cassie. Let's talk about Lexi and Cassie. The argument that Cassie had towards Lexi honestly was kind of fire. I have to say, when she stormed the stage, I was like, oh, this is gonna be terrible. She's gonna embarrass herself. But then the thing she was saying to Lexi, I was like, kind of true. And she was like, you don't even participate in these things. You just stand on the sidelines and then you judge all of us. Was she wrong? No, because Lexi is the one to, Lexi is an observer, and it's just always her looking down the hallway. She is an observer. And while that is, like, admirable in the sense of she's paying attention, she knows a lot of things, she's also not brave enough to step in and participate in what's happening, right? And so Cassie did sort of read her to filth, which I was not expecting. I was like, things that are making sense are coming out of Cassie's mouth right now. Huh. Yeah, it was a read, to be honest. And when they tried to play it off as part of the play, that was hilarious. And okay, another thing that I want to talk about, Lexi's, what she says to the stage manager when she goes off stage. She says, it's the only thing I've ever done, and it's a disaster. And then the stage manager says, it could be worse. Lexi says, how? She says, it could be boring. I was looking up stuff about Euphoria, and somebody said that they felt that scene or that dialogue was referencing Sam Levinson's criticisms about the show, and how, like, he's a millennial trying to speak through the voices of teenage girls, and it's like really over the top, lots of nudity, it's a mess. You know what I'm saying? But at least it's not boring. You know what I mean? Because people are watching it. And that is true, like, no matter the criticisms I've had with the show, no matter the criticisms most people have had with the show, people are still watching it, right? Because it's really interesting. And so that is very true. It is better for something to be a mess than to be boring. And I do feel like that's a very accurate descriptor for, like, all of Euphoria, Ashtray dying, he was kind of born to die, which is very sad, but it just kind of felt like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, he's very neglected, and a lot of this show is about the cause and effect of, like, family dysfunction, and he received a lot of the consequences. You know what I'm saying? He was basically born to die, which is so crazy. I need to know what happens to Fez. I'm very upset that we don't know anything about if he's even alive or okay, but something that people are saying, like predictions for season 3, is that they think he's gonna work with Lori. He's gonna work with the cops to try and take Lori down, which I could maybe see. That could be an interesting plot line. I still need the Lori and Rue situation to be addressed, and maybe they would kind of put that in there, if that makes sense. Kat still didn't have a line. BB had more lines than Kat. I feel like just don't even put Kat in season 3 if you're gonna do this to her again. They probably wouldn't, honestly. They probably wouldn't. Which is sad. But overall, like, season 3, I'm like, I am excited for it. Honestly, I am excited for it. Like, I know Rue is, like, supposedly clean now. Do we think that's gonna stick? Personally, no. Right? Personally, I think no. I would love to see more Gia not crying. And, like, there's a lot of characters that serve singular purposes. Gia's purpose is to cry. Kat used to have a real purpose, and now she's just like the glorified extra who makes the show seem a little bit more inclusive and is kind of like the rational thinker. Like when one person is saying, Maddie, get her ass, Kat is like, no, 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 and she's trying to stop the fight. Why are you doing that, Kat? Stop, let it happen. BB's only purpose is like kind of to be the audience's voice and also just be kind of random and add a little bit of flavor with her vape. Faye's purpose is just to look there really stunned with her big lips and walk really, really slow. You know? There's a lot of single purpose. Elliot's purpose is to sleep with everything around him and play guitar. You see where I'm going with this. Ashley's purpose is to die. Like, a lot of characters are one-trick ponies. But some of the characters, such as Gia, I would love to see, like, maybe be a little bit more, a bigger part of season 3 and have more of her own story and her own arc as a character. That would be nice. Yeah, but I am excited for season 3. And I think overall season 2 is pretty epic. Pretty epic. I would say the best episode of the series was episode 7, season 2. Of the entire series so far, the first part of the play was the best episode of Euphoria ever. And I think a lot of people could probably agree with that. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on the finale as well as the whole season down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to my Patreon, my podcast. I will link everything down below. Instagram and Twitter is Kira Bria. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you next time. Bye.